Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the morning of October 19th, 2020. In this video, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin speaking on behalf of President Donald Trump, who I have in between my fingers right here. I don't have a game piece for Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin, however, we will work with what we have. Are likely to continue talks for the next disaster relief package today, 90 days after negotiations began for the next round of stimulus back in July. As you very well know, Senate Republicans led by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who I do have a game piece for. He's one of my knights of the square table, ladies and gentlemen. Senate Republicans are worried that President Donald Trump and Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin will throw all of their concerns to one side and agree to a $2 trillion package that Democrats are demanding. Democrats don't even know whether the administration even wants a deal for the next round of stimulus. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin, as per one of my previous videos, went on CNBC last week and he stated that the administration would agree to the language laying out the national plan for contact tracing, testing, and containment and the equitable and ethical distribution of the vaccine that Democrats are demanding. And then Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin then went back to the negotiating table, striking 55% of the language, actually laying out that national plan that Democrats are demanding. If Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi do not make a deal for the next round of stimulus by tomorrow, then legislators and public officials will have to start focusing on crafting legislation after the elections during the lame duck session of Congress and the administration. A few things are still up in the air. Child tax credit, child care funding, unemployment benefits, money for state and local governments, and other things, other provisions on which parties, all negotiators, have not been able to compromise. It is unlikely that they're going to seal a deal tomorrow. However, it's not impossible. It will require House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to call the House back in session on Friday, Saturday, or Thursday perhaps. It would take the Senate a week to work on this and ultimately pass it, if they even consider taking it up and putting it up for a vote to pass it and ultimately send it to the president so he can sign it into law and disperse the funds out to the American people. Delaware Senator Chris Coons went on CNBC this morning, starting by stating that small business owners are demanding and complaining every day that they desperately need funding so they can contribute towards saving this economy. He serves on the U.S. Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, and he had just received a text coming from Delaware small businesses that are eager to know in regards to any breakthroughs in negotiations for the next round of stimulus. He stated that according to Senate Republicans with whom he speaks on a daily basis, President Donald Trump, he is eager. He wants a deal. He desperately wants a deal. And Democrats have proven that they wanted a deal because they passed a broad bill that met all of the Americans' needs 4 months ago. He argued that if the Senate would have taken that bill and passed it, and they would have been successful in sending it to the president and having the president sign that bill into law, then the economy's recovery would have been a lot stronger and we wouldn't be in the current situation that we are currently experiencing. However, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, he only put out a skinny bill a couple of months ago throughout this entire negotiation process. And it included provisions that prevented Democrats from actually supporting this bill. Those provisions are business liability protections that you know are powered by the Chamber of Commerce that have pumped millions of dollars in federal races in favor of GOP candidates to ensure that they include business liability protection. And you have the other side, the Association of Trial Lawyers Lobby, that have pumped millions of dollars in federal races in favor of Democrat candidates, so they block provisions for liability protections. He stated, Senator Chris Coons argued that if Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell would allow for amendments, if he would just release the bill, because he hasn't even released the bill as yet, if he would have released a bill and allow for amendments where Democrats can build on that package and add the provisions that will provide all of the funding that Americans need, that businesses need, that small communities need, that nonprofits need, then they would stand a better chance to ultimately passing something that can ultimately support the American people. Then, CNBC reporter Becky Quick stopped Senator Chris Coons and told him what if there are things on which all sides can compromise. That let's just put Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to one side for one moment right now. And she stated that it was troubling to her that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin can't even make a deal. So if they can't even make a deal, why don't we just focus on ensuring that they find common ground, basically put together a package on which both sides can agree, and then ultimately send it out to Mitch McConnell to put the pressure on Mitch McConnell so he can ultimately pass something. Senator Chris Coons argued that President Donald Trump ran on the notion that he was the ultimate deal maker, that he would put people in the room and he'd create win-win situations and ultimately provide all the support for the American people that they require and that they demand, and that Mitch McConnell desperately needs President Donald Trump's support in the fight for his life, as he stated it verbatim, in the fight for his life for his re-election in Kentucky. So if President Donald Trump and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, if Democrats were to ultimately make a deal, then President Donald Trump would be the best person to put the pressure on Senate Majority Leader McConnell to ultimately get his Republican members to support a comprehensive stimulus package and send it out to the president's desk so he can ultimately sign it into law. However, Becky Quick then asked him, does he think that Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is actually speaking on behalf of the president? Then he pointed out, Senator Chris Coons pointed out that President Donald Trump, about a week ago, he called off negotiations for the next round of stimulus. And then 48 hours later, he was calling for the standalone bills, which you very well know about. It was the $1,200 stimulus checks, $135 billion for another round of the Paycheck Protection Program, and $25 billion for the airlines. Becky Quick noted that she knew about this. She acknowledged that she knew that all of this stuff was happening, and she recognizes that being a member of the U.S. Senate Committee on the Small Business and Entrepreneurship in the U.S. Senate, that he has worked on a bipartisan basis to craft legislation. But she also stated that why did House Speaker Nancy Pelosi actually put a deadline on negotiations? Senator Chris Coons stated that he agrees to her placing a deadline because the negotiations have been dragging on for months, and that this would ensure that both parties actually get closer to reaching an agreement and ultimately making a deal for the next round of stimulus. He cited how there are 25 million people who are collecting unemployment insurance, how 900,000 people filed initial jobless claims last week, how state and local governments are actually laying off essential workers, firefighters, police officers, as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has stated, teachers, because they haven't received the funding that they need, that there are endless lines at food pantries, that people are hungry, and that Democrats desperately want to pass another package because they get the calls from their constituents day in and day out. So they want to ensure that they get money out to small businesses, out to nonprofits, to Americans. They want to get the money out as promptly as possible. And he knows that there's a way to do it because he has worked on a bipartisan basis with members of the other side of the aisle. He also cited how Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell stated that there was a drastic need for another round of stimulus to ensure that this economic recovery is as strong as it can be. And he stated there was a 50% chance that as long as the president works together with Democrats to ultimately make a deal and put the pressure on Senate Republicans and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to pass legislation for the next round of stimulus, to put it on the president's desk so he could sign it into law and disperse the much needed funds to the American people, then they could potentially do something prior to Election Day. However, he closed the interview by stating that he was frustrated with the entire process and the lack of collaboration among all parties to ultimately get you the money that you need to save this country. That said, if U.S. Senator Chris Coons represents the state of Delaware, is so eager to provide much needed funding to small businesses as he works on the U.S. Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, the same committee that is assigned to work on S.4227 that mandates and funds the Small Business Administration's disbursement of the full $10,000 economic injury disaster loan grant to all legitimate small business applicants, we have to let him know that he has to do everything in his power that he and the committee packages the full disbursement of the EIDL grant to all legitimate small business applicants in the next stimulus package, ladies and gentlemen. So we can contact him at twitter.com/Chris, C-H-R-I-S, Coons, C-O-O-N-S, or coons.senate.gov. Let me know what you think. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Watch this video right here. For more economic injury disaster loan grant and stimulus coverage, click the like button if you like the video. Click the subscribe button and click the bell notification to stay on top of my findings. We mobilize like no one else will and stop at nothing until each and every one of you is equipped with all the monetary ammunition you need to save and feed your families, save your businesses, and keep your employees all on payroll to ultimately save this country. May God bless you. May God bless the United States of America and everybody else on this planet. Talk soon.